There was a time I thought I'd never walk without pain again. My knees ached, my legs felt weak, and just standing up from my futon made me nervous. That was 10 years ago, until a simple Japanese habit helped me rebuild strength from the inside out. Today, I want to share with you something many people overlook. 3 humble, inexpensive nuts that support natural collagen production in your body. Collagen that helps keep your legs strong even after 60. It's not a miracle. It's not a pill. It's food. Real food, the way we've eaten it for generations here in Japan. My name is Keiko. I'm 84 years old, and I live in a quiet town near Kyoto. I wasn't always strong. At 74, I fell in my own kitchen because my legs couldn't support me anymore. That fall broke more than my confidence. It nearly stole my independence. But healing began not in a hospital, but in my kitchen. And it started with a handful of roasted peanuts. My daughter said they were full of good protein, natural fats, and something called arginine, helpful for collagen. I didn't understand the science, but I understood how I felt after a few months. Steadier, more alive. If you've felt your legs growing weaker or worry about your balance, I hope my story gives you hope and a practical, gentle path forward. Before we begin, I'd love to know, where are you watching this from? And what time is it for you right now? Please let me know in the comments. I look forward to reading them. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's next. Why we lose muscle. After 60, it doesn't happen all at once. One day, you notice it's harder to stand up from a chair. Another day, the stairs feel a little steeper than they used to. And one morning, like me, you might hesitate before stepping out of bed because your legs feel uncertain beneath you. This gradual loss of strength is called sarcopenia, but here in Japan, we often just call it weakening legs. It's quiet, slow, and far too common after age 60. And the reason? Our bodies naturally lose muscle mass as we age. But what many people don't know is that collagen, yes, the same thing that helps your skin stay firm, also plays a big role in keeping your muscles and joints strong. Collagen is like the glue that holds your muscles, bones, and tendons together. As we get older, we produce less of it. Less collagen means weaker tissues. That's why your knees might feel creaky, or why a small walk can leave your legs feeling sore. Add to that less physical activity, changes in appetite, and it becomes a cycle. The less we move, the more muscle we lose, and the harder it becomes to move again. In Japan, we have a saying, "Karada wa tabemono de dekite iru." The body is made from what we eat. It sounds simple, but it's true. When I was younger, I didn't think much about food. I just cooked what my mother taught me. But now, I realize that food is not just fuel. It's a form of medicine, especially when it comes to collagen. The good news? You don't need expensive supplements or special powders. Collagen can come from humble, everyday foods, like the 3 types of nuts I'll share with you soon. These nuts, when eaten regularly, can help your body rebuild what age has slowly taken away. If you've been feeling less steady lately, please don't ignore it. Muscle loss isn't just about strength. It's deeply connected to your balance, your independence, and even your ability to stay in your own home as you grow older. But as I've learned, even small steps, like a handful of the right foods, can gently turn things around. Collagen from nature, a Japanese way to rebuild strength. In Japan, we don't rush healing. We believe in the slow, steady rhythm of nature. Seasons turning, broth simmering, bodies recovering one breath at a time. That's the spirit behind shokuiku, a word that means food education. But it's more than just knowing what to eat. It's about respecting food as a part of life and health. When I was young, we didn't have supplements. We had miso soup, simmered root vegetables, and a few quiet rituals. Chewing slowly, eating seasonally, and never wasting even a single grain of rice. Back then, I didn't realize we were feeding our bodies collagen. Not from powders, but from everyday ingredients, especially certain nuts. Collagen doesn't just come from meat or fish. In fact, the building blocks of collagen, amino acids like glycine, proline, and arginine, are also found in plant-based foods. Some nuts are especially rich in these. When combined with a diet full of vitamin C, healthy fats, and minerals, they help your body produce collagen naturally. One Western doctor once asked me, "Keiko-san, do you take collagen supplements?" I smiled and said, "No, I eat what my grandmother ate." That's when I explained how we use food in Japan, not as a quick fix, but as a daily support system for our body. Take a traditional Japanese breakfast. A small bowl of rice, miso soup, grilled fish, pickled vegetables, and sometimes sesame seeds or crushed peanuts sprinkled on top. It may look simple, but it's rich in nutrients that quietly strengthen bones, joints, and muscles. We don't count calories. We count care. Scientists now confirm what we've practiced for generations. In a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, elderly adults who increased their intake of collagen-rich and collagen-boosting foods showed improved muscle strength and better physical performance. And the best part? These foods are affordable, accessible, and easy to enjoy at any age. You might be wondering, can nuts really help rebuild muscle? Yes, especially when eaten consistently. They provide key amino acids, healthy fats, and nutrients that support not just muscle strength, but joint mobility and skin health too. I didn't believe it myself at first until I felt the difference in my own legs after just a few weeks. My first discovery: peanuts. If you had told me 10 years ago that peanuts, yes, the humble little snack so many people overlook, would help me walk without pain again, I would have laughed. But sometimes, the simplest things carry the quietest power. I remember it clearly. My daughter came home with a small, brown paper bag. "Mama, try this," she said. Inside were roasted peanuts, lightly salted, still warm. I looked at her, puzzled. "Just peanuts?" She smiled. "Trust me." At first, I didn't understand. But she explained, peanuts are rich in arginine, an amino acid that supports natural collagen production. They're also packed with protein, healthy fats, and vitamin E, all nutrients that help maintain muscle mass and reduce inflammation, especially around the joints. And even better, they're affordable and easy to find. In Japan, we often eat peanuts alongside green tea in the afternoon. It's not just a snack, it's a moment. We sit down, breathe, and enjoy. I started doing the same. Every afternoon, a small bowl of peanuts and a warm cup of genmaicha tea. After a few weeks, I noticed something. My knees weren't aching as much when I stood up. My legs felt more stable on the tatami floor. I didn't expect much, but my body responded. What surprised me most was how quickly my energy began to shift. I started walking a little farther each morning. I felt stronger. Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, dependable way, like an old friend returning home. For those of you in America, you might be used to peanuts in peanut butter or candy bars. But if you choose the right kind, unsalted, dry roasted, and with no added sugars, peanuts can be a powerful part of your daily health routine. If chewing is difficult, a spoonful of natural peanut butter on a slice of apple or a piece of whole grain toast works beautifully. One of my favorite ways to enjoy peanuts is crushed over warm rice porridge in the morning, with a sprinkle of sesame seeds and a little sea salt. It feels nourishing, warm, and grounding. It reminds me that healing doesn't always come in a bottle. It can come from a bowl. There's also something emotionally healing about preparing your own food, even if it's just a handful of nuts. It gives you a sense of care, of connection, with your body, with your past, with your purpose. Some people say aging means giving up. I don't believe that. I believe aging is an invitation to listen more deeply, to slow down, and to return to the small, powerful things that sustain us. Peanuts were my first step. They're still part of my life today. Not because they're trendy or exotic, but because they work, and they remind me that nature often whispers, it doesn't shout. The unsung hero, sunflower seeds. When I think of summer in Japan, I think of sunflowers, tall, golden, gently swaying in the breeze. But what many people don't know is that the real magic lies not in the flower, but in its tiny seeds. Sunflower seeds were never something I paid much attention to when I was younger. They were often sold in small paper packets for children to snack on during festivals or long train rides. But as I got older, and my daughter encouraged me to explore natural ways to support my joints and muscles, I discovered just how powerful these little seeds really are. Sunflower seeds are rich in vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that plays a crucial role in repairing tissues, supporting skin elasticity, and reducing inflammation in the joints. They also contain selenium, magnesium, and protein, nutrients that work together to support muscle recovery and collagen synthesis. For someone in their 60s, 70s, or beyond, these benefits are not just helpful, they're essential. I began sprinkling sunflower seeds over my morning okayu, our soft Japanese rice porridge. The warm, creamy rice, mixed with the nutty crunch of the seeds, created a texture that felt comforting and deeply nourishing. I noticed my hands didn't feel as stiff in the mornings. I could kneel longer when tending my garden. The small aches that had crept into my shoulders and knees started to fade like a distant echo. What surprised me even more was how easy it was to include sunflower seeds in my daily meals. Unlike some supplements or complicated health plans, this felt natural, like something I could actually enjoy, and that made me want to keep going. For those of you in the US, sunflower seeds are everywhere. Grocery stores, farmers markets, even convenience stores. But here's the secret. Choose raw or dry roasted seeds without added salt or flavorings. That way, you get all the nutrients without the extra sodium or preservatives that can burden your body. If you're not used to eating seeds, start simply. Add a spoonful to your morning oatmeal. Mix them into yogurt, or toss them over a salad with olive oil and lemon. You can even grind them up and stir them into soups for a gentle thickness and nutty depth. One of my American friends, she's 68 and lives in Oregon, told me she started carrying a small container of sunflower seeds in her purse. Every afternoon, she eats a few while reading or watching birds from her porch. They're my quiet strength, she told me, and I smiled because I understood. In Japanese culture, we believe in the power of the small. A single seed, a single breath, a single step. These small choices, repeated with love and intention, can reshape the path of aging. Sunflower seeds may be small, but they carry within them warmth, strength, and light, just like the flower they come from. For me, They were the second step on my journey back to strength. A sweet habit: chestnuts. Autumn in Japan has a special kind of magic. The air turns crisp, the leaves blush in shades of red and gold, and the smell of roasted chestnuts fills the streets. For me, that scent carries memories of my husband's laugh, of chilly evenings wrapped in blankets, and of one simple, sweet habit that helped bring strength back to my legs. Chestnuts, unlike many other nuts, are soft, slightly sweet, and incredibly comforting. They've been a part of traditional Japanese cuisine for centuries, especially in the fall. But I didn't realize until later in life just how nourishing they could be, particularly for aging muscles and joints. What makes chestnuts special isn't just their taste. They're rich in vitamin C, which might surprise you. And vitamin C is essential for collagen synthesis. Without it, your body simply can't build or repair collagen effectively. They're also a good source of potassium and complex carbohydrates, giving you lasting energy without spiking your blood sugar. When my daughter first suggested adding chestnuts to my meals, I hesitated. "Aren't they just for holidays?" I asked. She smiled and said, "Not if they help you stay on your feet." So we began a little ritual. Every Sunday, we'd roast a tray of chestnuts together. Some we'd eat fresh, warm from the oven. Others we'd save for the week, adding them to soups, mixing them into rice, or blending them into a creamy chestnut porridge. That one change, adding a few chestnuts to my diet, became something I looked forward to. One of my favorite dishes is curry gohan, a simple Japanese rice dish cooked with chestnuts. It's warm, grounding, and fills the home with the scent of autumn. Eating it reminds me not only of nature's rhythm, but of the strength that comes from tradition and care. If you live in the US, you can often find roasted chestnuts in the fall and winter at grocery stores or Asian markets. Look for vacuum-sealed packs or fresh chestnuts to roast at home. They're easy on the stomach, gentle on the teeth, and full of nutrients that support joint health and overall vitality. You don't need to eat a lot. Just a few chestnuts a few times a week can gently support your body's collagen-building process. And perhaps more importantly, they offer a sense of warmth, grounding, and emotional nourishment. In Japan, we believe that food carries the energy of the season, and chestnuts, to me, carry the spirit of resilience. Even now, at 84, I still roast chestnuts every autumn. I sit by the window with a small bowl, breathe in the scent, and remember the strength it took to walk again, and how much of that strength came from the quiet comfort of food like this, more than just nuts. How I made it a routine. Discovering the right foods is one thing. Making them part of your daily life, that's the real secret. Especially after 60, when routines become both our greatest comfort and, sometimes, our greatest barrier to change. For me, adding peanuts, sunflower seeds, and chestnuts wasn't about following a strict diet. It was about weaving small, healing choices into the rhythm of my day. In Japan, we have a saying, "Choto Zutsu." It means little by little. That's how I did it. That's how I still do it. I began by creating simple rituals. In the morning, while waiting for the kettle to boil, I'd prepare my rice porridge and sprinkle a few crushed peanuts or sunflower seeds on top. Just a spoonful. Nothing dramatic, no big commitment, but it became a part of my morning quiet. In the afternoon, I'd take a small plate of roasted chestnuts and sit by the window with my tea. I didn't rush through it. I made it a moment of stillness, a reward for my body, for carrying me through the day. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. You don't need to eat a large amount of nuts every day. In fact, too much can upset your stomach. Just a small handful, about 1 ounce a day, is enough to give your body the amino acids, healthy fats, and micronutrients it needs to gently support collagen production. For storage, I keep each type of nut in separate glass jars. It makes them feel special, and it reminds me they are part of my healing. I also portion out a few small paper bags each week to keep in my purse, so I'm never far from a nourishing snack. If you're just starting out, I encourage you to choose one nut first. Maybe peanuts feel familiar to you, or maybe chestnuts sound comforting. Begin with one. Try it for a week. Notice how your body feels. Then add another. Choto Zutsu. Even more important than the food is the attitude. I don't eat these nuts out of fear. I eat them with hope. Hope that my body, even now, is capable of healing. Hope that small choices can lead to great change. And I invite you to eat the same way, not to fight your age, but to walk with it gently. Some of my friends say, "But Keiko, I'm too forgetful. I always miss a day." And I tell them, then you begin again the next day. That's all. Aging is not about being perfect. It's about returning, again and again, to the things that help you feel whole. These three nuts, peanuts, sunflower seeds, and chestnuts have become part of my story. Not because they are magical, but because they are steady, gentle, real. How my legs changed. 3 months later, 3 months. That's all it took for me to notice the difference, not just in my legs, but in how I felt about aging. It didn't happen suddenly. There wasn't a dramatic transformation. But one morning, I stepped out of bed and realized I hadn't braced myself. I stood up, not slowly, not painfully, just naturally. My knees felt steadier. My ankles didn't tremble. I smiled to myself quietly because I knew something was changing. That week, I walked farther along the river path near my home. It was the same path I used to walk with my husband. For the first time in years, I made it to the small red bridge at the end of the trail. I sat there for a while, watching the water, feeling the wind on my cheeks, and I said thank you to my body for still trying, and to the tiny foods that helped carry me here. What had changed physically? My legs had more stamina. I didn't get winded so quickly. My joints felt looser, less stiff. I could kneel again in the garden, tend to my little herbs, and get up without help. My posture improved. I wasn't hunched as much, and inside, I felt safer in my body. Emotionally, something deeper happened. That sense of helplessness that often comes with aging. It began to fade. I no longer felt like life was slipping away from me. Instead, I felt like I was walking back toward it, one step at a time. Of course, these results came from a combination of things: gentle stretching, better sleep, and movement. But I truly believe food played a central role. Not just any food, food with intention. Food rooted in tradition, love, and care. Sometimes people think it's too late. I used to think that too. But 3 months taught me otherwise. With each small change, the body responds. It remembers. It rebuilds. If you've been wondering whether it's worth trying, I say this: don't wait for perfection. Don't wait for motivation. Just begin. One bowl, one handful, one moment of care. A message for you if you are watching this and your legs feel weaker than they used to, if getting up from the couch feels harder, if you've started avoiding stairs or long walks or even just standing for too long. I want to say this, from one soul to another. You are not broken, and you are not alone. The truth is, aging comes with change, but it doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean accepting pain as your new normal. Your body, even now, is listening. It's still responding. it's still capable of healing, gently, quietly, and little by little. I didn't start eating these 3 nuts because I wanted to live forever. I started because I wanted to feel steady again. I wanted to walk to my garden without fear. I wanted to bend down to greet my grandchild without pain in my knees. And I wanted to feel proud of my body, not in the way it used to be, but in the way it still could be. Peanuts, sunflower seeds, chestnuts, simple things, but to me, they were a turning point. They reminded me that I could still care for myself in a real, meaningful way, that I didn't need expensive solutions or overwhelming routines. I just needed one small action, repeated with love. I hope you'll take this to heart. It is never too late to begin again. Even if your legs feel weak, even if you've lost strength, even if you're scared, start with one bowl, one handful, one gentle breath. And please don't forget to tell me where you're watching from. Your story matters too. I would truly love to hear it. We are walking this path together, one step at a time. Before we finish, let me gently remind you, every body is different. What worked for me may work for you, or it may not. That's okay. This journey isn't about copying. It's about listening to your own needs and finding what nourishes you best. The foods I shared today, peanuts, sunflower seeds, and chestnuts, aren't a cure, but they are a beginning. A reminder that even in our 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond, we can still choose kindness toward our bodies. Health information shared on YouTube may not apply to everyone and is not medical advice. Please consult with your doctor or healthcare provider before making changes to your diet, especially if you have allergies or health concerns. If you think you may need emergency care, please call your doctor or your local emergency number right away. If this video spoke to you, I'd be honored if you subscribed. And even more so, if you left a comment below, tell me what part of your body you want to heal next. I read every message, truly. Thank you for sharing this time with me. May your steps feel lighter tomorrow than they did today.